Same as many places in the world, Hong Kong, as a very urbanized city, is facing the trend of aging. To be more exact, we have an increase of 36% of elderly population in the past decade. 20 years later, 1 in 3 of Hong Kong citizens will be elderly. That means age beyond the age of 65. Many people use the term silver tsunami to describe this aging trend. The underlying intonation of this term is a bit unfair, especially to the elders. And to me, actually is pretty much misguided. Longevity is all the times happening in our human history. The problem now we are facing is basically a collective longevity in a highly urbanized society like Hong Kong. So we don't need to change the trend of longevity, but what we need to change is how an urbanized city like Hong Kong should reshape our healthcare system, our welfare, our housing, transport, or even town planning. This is what we should do. In an aged society like Hong Kong, we are going to be super aged, according to WHO, very soon. As I just mentioned, longevity is never new to human mankind. But collective longevity is a problem because most of the chronic diseases are related to age. Or, put it in other words, age is the #1 risk factor for chronic disease. So over 75% of our older population will have one or even more kinds of chronic diseases like cardiovascular disease, stroke, dementia, and I would say while we age, the probability of having one or more of this kind of chronic disease will increase. If we are going to embrace a society where more and more people are aged, we need to change, at least, our healthcare system. We are heavily rely on our hospital system, which is curative in Hong Kong. And we need to change our system from a curative to preventive. That means we should put more resources in our primary care system. Our welfare system is also being burdened by all these chronic disease. While a patient, after having stroke, obviously he or she cannot take care of herself, and so she'll end up in a nursing home. It is one of the huge burden of our long-term care system. Another problem of aging population is we have less and less workforce. While we have more and more older person who might need care both in the hospital and in the nursing home, we'll have less and less labor force taking care of this frail elderly. So in this context, we are facing the problem exactly right now. We have our vacancy level of up to 20% for our frontline staff. And we also have the problem of recruiting various kind of professionals, no matter it's physiotherapists, occupational therapists, nurses, or doctors. If we are really going to take up this challenge, we need to change our education system too. We need to empower our patients more. We need to support our carers more. So much so that we are not going to put all the burden in various kind of institutions, no matter it's hospital or nursing homes. So our whole education system should be changed in a way that we can train up all the laymen, all young folks. They need to be trained one day to support their family members. And we also need to change our system from, as I said, like medical, from a curative to a preventive. Like welfare system, from an institutional care to a community care, where we should recruit more family members into the system. That we call it a carer support system. There are different kind of faculties or teaching areas in a university. And my advice to the modern day university is we must put in a very important factor, no matter which faculty you are teaching or where you are learning. Very soon, 1 in 3 of our citizens will be elderly. That means With this kind of demographic, we need to change how we teach and how we learn. Say, in a marketing faculty, reshape our curriculum so much so that our future customer, and most of them, those with assets, are those elderly. And so our marketing tools and skill set will be very much different from now, which is very much geared towards the younger generation. So it also applies to town planning, to engineering, to building, or to a course which maybe somebody think it is unrelated, say a department of business. But I would say all these kind of learning area, we need to put in an element of aging population. How about a new business model for a product which is geared towards an aged society like Hong Kong? If I'm just focused on engineering, technology is a thing which will have a high impact on an aging population, and also vice versa. Nowadays, the technology interface or the user interface is so good that I would say all elderly can embrace it, can use it without much learning or without much effort. And technology can apply to all areas, no matter it's telemedicine or assisted technology for frail elderly. And technology can also promote health. A lot of apps or feedback mechanism or IoT technology can help our patients to self-manage. And this kind of patient empowerment, I would say, is revolutionary. So in this kind of context, I would like to appeal to all students and teachers that from now on, we should think from a new angle, a community with collective longevity, where we'll have new customers, we'll have new users who might be at the age of 80 or 90, who are using the modern technology without their notice, and who may be enjoying our new business model and a city with a new model of economy and also a new model of services.